And I am very excited about our next speaker because she's so versed. We met, I would say serendipitous. When you meet people and you've all had it, there's relationships that you've built, and then there's a conversation that you have, and within 20 minutes, you're going to have longer conversations and longer teas. And if you lived in the same neighborhood, you'd be in the pool making business ideas like Mel and Angel. That's how I felt when I met Stanice. And I am thrilled with her topic. First of all, just to let you know, she is a powerful entrepreneur. She is a direct sales professional. She is the founder of 100 Women Who Care in Edmonton. And just to cherry on the sundae, she's a kimono designer. I could have said that was the thing that people don't know about you, is being a kimono designer. So the thing that you may not know about her, and this is so great, is not only is she a sommelier, but she likes Kit Kats. And they go very well together with sitting down, watching the movie of Seeing All Red. There's nothing wrong with a little Kit Kat and a little red wine, right? She is a big Tom Petty fan, bucket list to see him. So if anyone knows Tom, just put them together with Stanice. But her topic is incredible. It's from self-doubt to self-love, unlocking your value after 50. Oh, glory, glory, sister, sister. And she has a free gift, and she has an incredible gift. As this kimono, her gift to one person is actually a kimono. Isn't that amazing? I know Dorothea's face just fell off. She's like, can we please enter? Right? It's like such a sacred thing, right? A kimono. And so, yes, and that is her free gift to one person. And so I'm so excited to bring Stanice Markham onto the stage today. Yay!
Thanks, Deb.
You're welcome.
I just want to say thank you so much for putting all of this together. You and Angel Dorothea, who is amazing. I just love her. Angel, we haven't had a chance to have a chat privately, but I would love to do that. I spent the whole day today pretty much in and out a little bit. And what a powerful group of ladies, and just the energy. We all kind of have the same type of themes, running all the way through. I wore my necklace, my manifestation necklace. Mm-hmm. I said my manifestations at 8 o'clock this morning. 888. So there's a little bit about that in there as well. Did you have some questions you wanted to ask me?
I did. So for those of you that didn't hear, she is the founder of 100 Women Who Care in Edmonton. And if you're not familiar with Edmonton, Edmonton is a beautiful place in Canada. And so I wrote some questions down. So I wrote, as a woman who runs, multiple businesses, and obviously you're in touch with many women doing many things. You are obviously in your 50s, because you're talking about, unlocking the value of your 50s, and you work with women that are in their 50s. What is different about being in your 50s than any other time in your life, in your opinion?
Oh, for sure. I think that once a woman reaches 50, she's had enough life experience, and she really understands who she is and what she brings to the table. She gets what she's truly made of and her value. I would say the most important thing that you can ever do is love yourself, learn how to love yourself. And it's the most important thing you can do, but it's also the most difficult thing you can do as well. So it's a great accomplishment in life, though. You can't achieve any of your goals unless you do that first. After we reach 50, women are so much more accepting of themselves and so much more comfortable in their own skin, I find. It's really a time of coming into your own power, connecting with that inner opulence, I call it. That richness of being, that personal greatness that sets you apart from everyone else. I always say, in my role as a designer and fashion stylist, that the pieces I create through Kimono Envy are meant to remind women of exactly how special they are. There's no more angst. There's no more, oh my gosh, I have to call all my girlfriends to get their approval over what I'm wearing, what I'm doing in life. You just do it what's best for you and for your loved ones. I like to say, it reminds me of, the saying, I've heard this before. You walk into the room when you're 20 and you're in a social situation and you don't know anyone. And you're like, oh my gosh, please let them like me. When you're in your 50s, it's like, oh my gosh, you sweep into the room and you're like, oh my gosh, I hope I love someone here. Right? It's just such a huge difference. Also in your 50s, you're focused on your legacy, which has been touched on here a little bit. And it's a time of really wanting to shine your light as bright as you can. If not now, then when? I mean, there's a long runway still, ladies. And 40 years? What are we going to do? Sit around and wish we were 30? Nah, I'm not about that at all.
Wow.
I hope that answers the question.
No, absolutely it does. But I was going to ask you, like, your own process. What was your process of discovering your value? I think we all have different experiences or moments in time, or it's interesting. Sometimes it was a disempowering experience that made us realize our value because we're like, oh, no. So for you, what was that for you?
So it has been a very interesting journey. I thought a lot about this question, and I had a challenging upbringing, which left me leaving home at the age of 13. So I guess you could say that I didn't really have that foundation of self-love in an early age. When it came to giving others love and support, though, I really excelled at that. I worked in a women's shelter for 8 years. I was a crisis intervention worker. And then it kind of goes hand in hand with 100 Women Who Care. I just always wanted to be able to give back, right? And then I went on to raise my 4 amazing kids. And when I went to this is when it really impacted me. I went to my very first real business conference, and I saw a lady up on the stage, and she was speaking so elegantly and so proudly, about her success and how she had done. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I'm leaving. I don't want to be up on that stage, right? Flash forward to 2014, January, I went to a vision board group, and I put in the book a picture of myself and a large group of women, okay? And I thought, I'm going to do this year. Now, this is the manifesting thing, right? I put it out there. And by March, I had a calling on my heart to do 100 Women Who Care Edmonton. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just was so compelled to do it. That's why I call it a calling on my heart, because it was just so strong, the force to do it. And by October, I was on the microphone in front of 100 women, and I was following up a kind of a media legend in Edmonton. And I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Working with entrepreneurs, running Connected Business Women's Network here in Edmonton has advanced my personal progress, as I learned so much from the speakers over the last 5 years, the education on their expertise in so many different things, right? Realizing my dream of starting a fashion business myself was another amazing part of my journey. It was another manifesting situation. In December of 2019, it was the last full moon of the year. I had Connected Business Women's Network the next day. And I went and I laid my bed at midnight. I said, okay, universe, what's 2020? And when I got up the next day, I had visions of kimonos dancing literally through my head. I had never thought about doing it. I didn't even know how to sew. I had no clue how I was going to do it. And here we are 3 years later, and I have a thriving business, and I truly love what I'm doing. If you've ever heard of Star Trek, then you've heard of that cloaking technology that they wrap around the starships to hide them. Well, I feel like my kimonos are the reverse. They're the cloaks of visibility. And I feel like when somebody puts on one of my kimonos and they walk out, the sun is shining on them and they're shining as bright as they can. And that's, I just love what I do. So.
Well, isn't that an interesting story of entrepreneurship? I mean, first of all, what I heard is that you were a student. Like you were a student. Like you talk about how going and listening to these women share and share and share, because the question was, how did you find your own path to your own value, right? That's what I asked. And your path to your own value was, for the most part, I think really being a student, right?
Right.
Seeing what you could do, being scared to what you could do, but somehow you were drinking this beautiful elixir of other people having their own value
and listening.
And over the time, the relatability allowed you to even ask. I mean, for us to manifest, you have to have, I mean, that takes a lot of courage. Okay. There's a lot of stories that could have come out of that, right? Like you just asked the universe, okay, Miss Full Moon, what's got going on? And then not too many people are going to go from that to dancing kimonos that can't sew to having a flourishing business in only 3 years. 3 years is nothing. It's a blink of an eye when it comes to building a business, really, truly, especially when you can't do the things. It's different if you're a baker and you're really good at baking and you open a bakery. It's not, you could probably have success in 3 years, but so what I heard through that was just that you were constantly taking in as a student and then at some point braved up.
And it really got me through COVID because every day I was so excited because remember, it was the end of 2019. I wasn't sad at all. Every day I was super excited to get up and learn. I learned selling online. I learned designing, I just learned so much. So it was impactful for sure.
Okay. So here's a great lead out to that. What do you think it is that stops women from going for it? I mean, that was how you filled yourself up, but in general, there's a lot of, I should have, and I can't, or I didn't, or, what do you think that's about?
Well, I think it's the same kind of issue that always held me back as well. A lot of us, in our 50s now, we were, well-behaved women. We were supposed to just look pretty. And because we're girls from the 80s, right? Where we're supposed to look pretty, people please, take care of everyone else, and put all of our needs on the back burner. Generally speaking, males were encouraged to assert themselves, where women were told assertiveness is pushy and aggressive. It's certainly the behavior that's not becoming of a lady, right? This leads to consequences, right? Imposter syndrome, superwoman syndrome, and my own familiar issue, perfectionism. I don't know if anybody else has that, but desperate, a lot of women trying desperately to feel good enough and to meet the approval of others. So it is something that you have to grow through. And I wrote this on my page, but today I was listening to my affirmations and it kept saying, what other people think of you is none of your business. I thought that was amazing. It was another sign, right? So I really do. I think that's the big thing that holds us back, especially at our age, right? So many of them get trapped in that. So many others get trapped in that. I have really, really worked hard to not, I'm still, a little on the perfectionism, but.
No, I mean, work in progress, right?
Yes, always.
And I'm sure when someone has their kimono made, they appreciate the other side of that perfectionism.
Right. Yes, exactly. The cloak of visibility.
Yeah. But just, making sure all that's done. There's a room for it. Okay. So
yes.
We had a big talk about this before, and even with the allowance that people say, that's okay, sure, go ahead. And like, there's all this allowance of people saying, yeah, share how you feel, or we're here to help you, or what do you think it is that still is difficult for women to ask for help?
Well, I think it really all comes from the same place. We've been made to feel like we have to do it all, just like our mothers. Remember, our mothers did everything. They had the jobs, they had the, raised 10 kids back in the day. And asking for help means that you're weak and inadequate somehow. But nothing could be further from the truth, because as an entrepreneurial in the world, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. Because you're asking other business savvy, just coming on here today and, learning what I've learned. It's just amazing. It's not indication of incompetence, but of bravery and brilliance, as I see it. Asking for help is how you advance on your path to success. None of us is good at everything. So, like I said today, Blossom, yes, Blossom is the way to go. Definitely. Flaws and all. Yep.
Yep. That's fantastic.
Mhm.
And I think that's very true. I think that there's been feelings around not knowing everything, or keeping your not knowingness to your inner circle. I think as women break out into the world of business, they don't know that they can take that with them, that they can also create a tribe of, I call it biz ships. There's friendships and there's biz ships, right? And so sometimes we think that we have to keep our inner world, to our friendships, and sometimes they don't know the answers. Like it's difficult to go and say, I don't know. I have no idea how to do this AI. Like, you don't think you can walk into a room and go, is anyone else like struggling? It's only really been recently where there's been more allowance around not knowingness. Yes. And there's been a wave. It's almost become a marketing tool to become authentic, right? It's like, if you're not authentic, I mean, I think it went a little far with sweatpants, during it's like, yeah, you're going to show up in your pajamas. Well, okay.
Kimonos, maybe.
There's no the podcast, right? ours is video. Don't do that. But just being able to have allowance with other women, even, right? Not being afraid of being judged, or I don't know enough about my business, or all those things that kind of go on in here.
Yes. And it is in here. Yeah. I mean, who is talking about that today? The stories that we tell ourselves, right? Oh, I couldn't ask that person for help. And you know what? If you reach out and ask that person for help, they would help you.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes we put ourselves in a category of not enough yet, or don't know enough yet, or don't make enough money yet to go ask this person, this what, and we give people podiums. Yes. Right? We give people podiums. Yes. And then we feel like there's a disconnect there, when really I think that we're trying to break that barrier and just let everybody know that we're all here.
Yes. Yeah. We're building together.
So I wanted to ask, and the information that you're sharing, I mean, you're talking about, women valuing themselves over the age of 50 because we had a different messaging, right? Each generation has different messaging. Children born today get different messaging. Yeah. I didn't let my daughter have a cell phone until she was 16. My mom didn't have to deal with that because we barely had more than 3 channels on our TV, right? So I had to get up and change them for her. And I remember having to change the
Me too.
to the green. I mean, and my daughter thought I was just the worst parent ever because, she was the last kid in wherever to have a phone. She'll talk about it today and we laugh about it as she parents her own children. But there's such a different, I think each generation has its own challenges, its own differences. I think about some of the stuff that we've gone through. And I always try whenever I speak, especially if I'm doing stage speaking, to have each generation thank the generation before. And that was a big part of this project, right? This project is open to entrepreneurs of all, age and stage, really where they're at. And giving respect to women that have had to carve that path out before us. And then us looking back and understanding, would you want to be born today? Would you, what are some of the things like we had, our self-esteem or our inavailability to speak, was like children should be seen and not heard, or, wear the dress and, whatever, do the deal. And then there's different things that our young sisters are dealing with in a world that we don't understand, where how many likes on your Facebook starts to make you think how much you're liked in the world, right? Very interesting, very different things. But I think I think you're right. The message is about loving yourself and valuing yourself. And that's just something that we've had to have driven, but that's something that we can also pass on and share.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
I want to ask you, because I know it's kind of off the topic of loving ourselves after 50, but so you saw kimonos dancing. I mean, you've entranced me with your story, Stanice. And this woman is an incredible entrepreneur. She's like, the one thing I know about you is quality. You know, I know that you're also in the health field and you deal with quality products, and I know
Yes.
that you're you know, you deal with quality coaching, and you know, your kimonos. Can you share a little bit? I personally don't know a whole lot about the history of kimono. I don't know if you've learned about the history of kimono, like where does the kimono come from? I mean, you know, it comes, you know, not from Canada per se,
Right.
but yeah.
Right. So we don't do the traditional kimonos.
Okay.
I've got one on here today that's a little Stevie Nicks. I like, you know, I love a good fringe, ladies. I love a good fringe. And burnout velvet. I love a lot of burnout velvet, but we also do like the bathrobe kimonos. We do all different kinds. I've just learned how to do so many different things. I'm still not sewing them, but I have a seamstress that does them, and I purchase the fabrics and design them, and then she does all the handiwork. But
I just learned something new. I didn't even
Mhm.
know. I didn't even know that, and I didn't even know that you were wearing one. Oh my
Oh,
gosh!
yes.
I knew this time, and I didn't know. When you
Oh,
said
yes.
kimono, I had a picture
Mhm.
in my head. I don't know if anyone else had a picture in their head, but I was
Mhm.
like, oh, I didn't. Well, then that's completely different. Oh my gosh.
Really so appreciate. This was such a huge growing space for me. Just like with Connected Business Women's Network, just like I said yes, right? I said yes because I needed to push myself. And like I said, with Connected Business Women's Network, it pushed me so far as well, because I had to be up there at the front of the room, right? This really helped me to grow, and so nerve-wracked to do this today, but I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved spending the day with you ladies, and yeah, you guys made me feel safe. So I want to thank you for that.
Oh wow, yay. That's a big word, and that we take that that's an honor. And you know, not to lead into some kind of pitch, but on the 8th day of every month,
Mhm.
just women being able to come and be poured into and
Yes.
share and step up. And that was what this was all about, you know, step up, you know, show up, speak up, and step up. Not always easy, not always
Mhm.
easy, not even for people that are well versed at it, right?
Mhm.
There's days that you got to
Mhm.
kind of cobweb. And someone asked me the other day, they're like, oh, you're not nervous anymore. I'm like, what? What do you mean I'm not nervous anymore? Yeah, there's a whole new level of things that go on in your mind every time you do something like this. So congratulations. And Angel, I'm going to toss it over to you. I know my question that I'm going to ask, but wow, right?
Very wow, right? I think you just opened up, like just again, like all these new thoughts, and we're watching everybody just weave into each other today. And I mean, how many of you now want to walk around in a kimono, right? Like even like it just what it represents and the freedom. And I did also with Deb, like I did not realize it just almost looked like a little, you know, just another layer, right? From
Mhm.
Denver, we used to just wear layers all the time. But just the tradition, but like new traditions, right? New paradigms. And I think that's a lot what Deb started out today talking about. You know, when we talk about International Women's Day, is really like just new traditions, and doesn't mean throwing off the old and everything, like swinging the pendulum. Like we bring some of that with us. But you were just lovely, just absolutely lovely to listen
Well,
to
thank
and to
you.
talk with and to engage. And yeah, I'm looking forward to connecting with you even more.
Thank you. I appreciate that.